Good morning, everyone. Welcome this morning to our Social Security Claiming Guide webinar. So those of you that may have tuned in before know today we're going to talk about some of the key Social Security claiming opportunities that you need to be aware of when you're working with your client. Dave will go over a few of the key ones for us. We'll talk a little bit about how you can use your Social Security claiming expertise to increase your value to your current clients and also to display that new expertise in a larger way to gain new clients. So a really good webinar today. Our guest speaker is Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching, has over the years become quite a top level of knowledge on Social Security claiming himself and has been very valuable to our producers for that reason. So beyond being a good marketer and having good Social Security expertise, Dave is also a regular producer since the early 1980s. And so he's particularly tuned in to the needs of producers in the field and what works and what doesn't work. And some of that comes from years of experience, and some of it comes from being adaptable to current situations because he's doing the same thing that you're all doing today. So really valuable partner for us to have in the coaching world. So thank you all for joining us today. My name is Steve Murray. I'm the president here at IAMS, and I have the good fortune to be able to work with Dave on some of the sales and marketing presentations when that opportunity arises, and which is usually on Tuesdays and sometimes on Fridays. So thank you all for joining us here today. Going to be a great webinar. There'll be a poll or two that will pop up. Hit yes or no as quickly as you can so we get moved on. If you have any questions, type them in and hit send, and we'll get them asked and answered as quickly as possible. Big group today, surprising for a Friday before a long weekend, but I think as the country opens up, there's a lot of curiosity and a lot of interest in ways that we can kind of rebloom our practices and get back into business post pandemic. So, certainly Social Security claiming is a great opportunity to do that. I've mentioned before on this meeting the we've had more success on Social Security claiming than any other seminar system that we had. And right before or right after, basically, a lot of things began to get closed down. We had canceled 17 seminars that were scheduled in, face-to-face seminars for our agents that were scheduled. So obviously there was good momentum there, and there's a great vast pool of folks that have interest in learning that, and we were having great success in getting people in the doors, and that success is about to head our way again. So again, timely, and thanks for joining us here today. As we get fired up and start talking about some things, I want to make sure we've got a good group here. Many of you are relatively new to IAMS and may not have begun to produce or just gotten to where you're producing with us. I want to make sure that you're aware of some things that we have available to help you as you get rolling with us. Once you do some business, you can kick those in and further jumpstart your business. So you can see before you on the screen what some of those options are. Retirement Boss Radio, Social Security seminars, things like that, to name a couple. But what I would say about that in general is that if you have something that you want to try or something that you are doing that works for you, you can see that there's a pretty decent cash value to a lot of those items, and we will certainly donate the value towards anything that you have in mind. We're aligned here. Our interest is your interest. Our interest is finding ways to get you in front of more clients and prospects. And if you have a better way to do that, that's great. If you don't, we've got some great ways to help you. I wanted to make sure too that you're all aware of these two simple programs. When you give us a referral, and that referral gets appointed with us, we're gonna give you a check for $50. But after that, as they do business, you're gonna earn an ongoing bonus on that business. So really good stuff for you. And they get to be some of our largest checks, which we like. We'd obviously much rather send checks to you than send checks to a magazine or email company or online, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we'd much rather support you and your business. Similarly, on the marketing reimbursement, when you do business with us, we put money in your marketing reimbursement account, and you can use that money towards anything that you want to do that builds your business. We'll match your spend dollar for dollar, so effectively doubling the value of your marketing. Great back office support here. Those of you that do business with us know that. Those of you that don't, I can say it all day long, but you won't believe it till you see the difference. But we do have good service that starts when you make your first call. You're going to get a live answer every time you call here between business hours. So that's about 7:30 to 6 or so, most days Central. And we're closing at 3 today, is why I say most days. But all that being said, back office support is from when you need a proposal to, knowing when your commission check is going to end up in your account. That's what we mean by back office support. So we're going to get you through everything that you need to be successful. One of the things that we did, we got lucky with this a couple years ago, is we put a Firelight single sign-on on our website. So what that means is you can go in on our website and do a e-app with most of your annuity carriers. The advantage of that is you don't have to go to multiple websites. Also, if you're doing one app or got one client who's doing a couple apps with a couple different carriers, you can do that cut and paste function. So it saves you a lot of time. Another obvious advantage of e-apps, no matter how you do them, is that you've got the most current forms, and you can have everything complete and get it submitted quickly. An e-app takes about an average of about 5 days off the processing of your application. It could be more sometimes if there's a problem and you need to go back and resubmit. It's so much easier when you've done an e-app. So we've become huge believers in that system, really most over the past year when it's been key. But even before that, our producers tell us, once you've gotten to do a couple of them and you see how it works and start feeling some of those advantages, it's just kind of a no-brainer. But take advantage of that. To go on and sign up to do e-apps with us takes about 3 minutes on our website. So get with your sales director if you would like, and have them walk you through that. You've got an advertising agency here at IAMS available for your uses. Basically, they're an advertising agency that knows your business and does business just with people just like you across the country. They do a lot of the work pro bono, which is really good. You're not going to find that with the normal advertising agency. You can use your marketing reimbursement dollars and we do those dollar for dollar in most cases when you're using the advertising part of our businesses. So all I'm saying is engage that creative department, help you grow your business. They've got a lot of ready-made stuff that they can get it with your logo. If you need a logo, they can help you with that, business cards, all the basics. They can do that. If you need websites, Facebook. So you can get your image built really inexpensively when you use our creative department. So again, get with your sales director and have them walk you through how that works. A lot of great stuff on our website. If you haven't looked at the website, I'd encourage you to call your sales director and let them know about your business and let them walk you through what's on there. There's tools that most people are unaware of that could really save them time, make them money, and they're all available at no cost, of course, on the website. If you haven't used the retirement analyzer software, some software like it, then there's a likelihood that you're missing out on an opportunity to build some longer term and larger relationships with some of your better clients. We make retirement analyzer available at our expense. If you go out and do that on your own, you're probably going to look at spending 70, 80 bucks a month for that. But what we have done is we pay a fee, and for our producers, we take care of that. Your usage at no expense to you through IAM. So if you have some interest in that, give either David or Marcus a call, and they will gladly send you a link. Even if you aren't doing business with us yet, but you want to have a look at it, maybe try it for a month, just go get with the guys, have them send you a link, do a analysis on yourself, do it on one of your A clients, and I think you'll see the value of it. We have folks that would not do business anymore with their clients without using a retirement analysis on them, which I think, I think I can say what I want and you can read before you what all the things it can do. But if you're listening to your fellow producers, they would tell you that it's become an indispensable tool for them. So, and that's at our cost. So take advantage of it. IAMS Wealth, it's our RIA. If you have an IAR and you're looking for a new RIA, I'd encourage you to give the folks over at IAMS Wealth a call. You're going to, obviously, if you don't have your IAR yet, your Series 65, what you're going to find, and you see it before you on the screen, you're going to get a stickier client, you're going to make more per client, and you're going to help your client more. And so those are some great advantages, I think, to most of us out in the field where we're trying to figure out, hey, what should we do differently in our businesses? And there's a little other reasoning right now with the DOL coming along again and starting to kind of want to insert some requirements into our business. And so you may remember a couple years ago, and some things about the new DOL initiative have changed, but some are different, and they're going to be ever changing. What they did was enact the Trump DOL, but the Biden administration is going to, probably add some other parts to it. And in the end, what it's going to mean is that if you're going to be working with clients, you're going to have to give them full service, and you can do that two ways. You can, have the ability via licensing to do it yourself, or you can refer it, and we can help you with that referral part of it. Certainly, in many states, we can also compensate you for your referral, but yeah, obviously the better part of that would be to get your 65 yourself, so that you're not referring that out, so you have complete control of that business, which I know that's what you want. So, but if you have an IAR, maybe you're not happy with your fees or your payouts at your current RIA. Our fees are, I keep hearing, low and very efficient. We get a lot for your fees here at Iams Wealth. And secondly, your payout, our payout is just a skosh over 1%. But the key is that doesn't go through a grid. So it's not 60% of that 1%. You're going to get 100% of that 1% number. So most guys and gals are surprised by that when they hear it. They think there's something wrong with us. That's not the case. That's the way we built it. We built it with high service, high payout, value to the advisor, and we're working to build up our volume, and that's if we can get to where we need to be there, it's going to work great for everybody. So if we can help you with that, if you need some help getting set up for the test, check yes on that poll. If you'd like to have a 5-minute conversation with Sarah or Charles, we can make that happen with a quick yes there as well, and they'll be glad to spend some time with you and answer any questions you might have and kind of walk you through the value prop. Duncan is been doing a great job over there with helping folks better understand, and sometimes it's not a fit, and they'd be the first ones to tell you that, hey, this is probably not the right time for you to do that. Here's some other options to consider. But either way, I think you'll find it a very valuable 5 minutes of your time spent. Thank you all, by the way, for answering so quickly. I appreciate that. I'm going to close that poll out here in about 10 seconds, but I would appreciate it if you have not been able to answer, if you would give me a quick yes or no on that. If you hit yes, what'll happen is you'll get a call. That first call will likely be from Duncan or Sarah, and they'll have a few minutes of conversation with you, see if there's a fit. If you want to have another conversation, a deeper conversation after that, then you can do that as well. If you're looking for a place to refer business, if in many states, what you can do is you can refer a client directly to Iams Wealth, and Iams Wealth can compensate you for that. If you're looking for someone local to help you, it may be that Iams Wealth has someone there that can help you for that as well. So a lot of reasons to have that conversation and check yes on that poll. Oops, I thought I closed it out. I didn't. My apologies. I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you for answering so quickly. I want to make sure that you're all aware of our Top Producer Summit. This is a great time to be talking about it, because as we're coming out of the pandemic, people are going to be able to travel more, and cruises are going to come back in popularity. And this is a very, very attainable cruise. Excuse me. For those of you that don't know, we run our full Top Producer Summit on an 18-month cycle. So what that means is you still have about 14 months to 13 months now to qualify for our Top Producer Summit. It takes 4.5 million, and you can see before you where we're going to go. We're going to start in Rome and end up in Venice, Italy. Qualification ends on June 30th of 2022, and it takes 4.5 million to qualify.
Hey, Steve. It's like you're getting emotional. It's like you're getting emotional about it. Hey,
Yeah.
I'll do while you're getting recovered. But you know what? Let me say this: those trips, and I've been on a bunch of them. They are top notch. I mean, they're as fun as you're ever gonna find, and it's like a family. And it just, I mean, you're on you're cruising and you're going to port and you're enjoying a great food, a great drink, and great friends. And I'll tell you, Steve Murray and Charles Hiring, who are the two owners, and Charles originated it back in 1986. They really, really, really put on a good show. So it's something you just don't want to miss. It's truly a trip of a lifetime. So, Steve, while you recovered, I thought I'd just throw in a couple tidbits there.
Much appreciated. I couldn't get water, but at least I was able to clear my throat good. So I do get a little emotional when I start talking about this cruise now. We'd love to have you join us. 4.5 million is all it takes to qualify, and you've got plenty of time yet to do that. 1-to-1 on annuity premium, 1 1.5 to 1 on single premium life premium. You get about 12 credits per target premium. So easy to qualify for. We'd love to have you join us. All right, like us and follow us, Facebook, LinkedIn. There's some stuff that we put out there that you can get nowhere else. So take advantage of that. Just go and if you go on our website and like us on either the or follow us on either Facebook or LinkedIn, we'd really appreciate it. And I'm going to skip over questions because I know there's going to be some more once you hear from Dave. I gave Dave a nice introduction. Dave, I don't know if you're on, but wanted to let everybody know a
Yeah.
little bit about you and how long you've been in the business and the success that you've had and the background that you've had. And today, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Social Security claiming, how you can use that not only to help your clients, but to grow your business. So really great webinar today. Thank you again for joining us. And I'm going to introduce the illustrious Mr. Dave Pimper.
Well, thanks a lot, Steve. I appreciate it. And we got a bunch of folks again on a Friday morning, and I can tell people are working hard. So I appreciate taking a little time off and spending it with the IAMS family. We're going to talk today specifically about a topic that's kind of dear to my heart, and that's Social Security claiming. And a lot of reps, I mean, the majority of reps, 90% of the reps, advisors, CPAs, lawyers, bankers, they don't understand the subject. And you know the reason why? Because they can't make money from giving advice on Social Security claiming. But I cannot tell you of what a foot in the door it is with most people. I just looked back, and of my last 6 sales, 4 were generated through having knowledge on Social Security claiming. Four. That's a big deal. And I would say it probably averages a third, but 4 of 6. So I'll tell you right now, if you don't know, if you're working with the pre-retired crowd or just retired crowd, and you really don't know Social Security claiming, I will tell you, you should, because it really can make a difference in your practice. So what I'm going to do, Steve, are you going to let me have the controls on this, or do you want to run them, or what do you want to do?
No, you've got them. You've got them.
I got them. Okay, there we go. Good. Now, this from here on out, this is going to last about, give or take, about 30 minutes. We'll be done at about 10 till the top of the hour. So we're going to take a little quiz, and before that, I just want to go through a little bit of information. Sarah Brown, who is a reporter for CNBC, this is word for word. This was back a couple years ago, but it says most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. And then it reads, a majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, that is Social Security. And get a load of this. Even if they worked with a financial advisor, a recent study included. And I don't have this slide, but Steve, are you still there?
I am,
Steve
Dave.
Murray. Yeah, Steve. What kind of percentage was it? I remember we used to have that slide. It was 3-4 years ago. It probably kind of got lost in the shuffle of things, but wasn't it well over 50% of all Americans, I mean, that were looking for financial help would change their advisor
Yeah.
if he didn't or she didn't know? Tell me what that quotation was there.
Basically, what it basically said that 72% of all people that were looking for assistance on financial advice would switch their advisor based on their knowledge of Social Security claiming. So obviously what we're saying is that's really important to people, and I don't think we always, as an industry, maybe we don't latch on to that as well as we should and understand how important that is to a lot of our clients.
And Steve, you know the reason, even in this business forever, the FMO business, I've been in the production and coaching business forever. What happens is advisors they look at Social Security, besides being complicated and someone to teach them, but you don't make money off of showing Social Security. And I really do believe in our business, and of course we have our bills. That's why it isn't a product, but it's just really it's education about when to take at the right time. But get a load of this. I always say this: the reason that I really ended up, so many people were asking me. I work with the pre-retired and just retired, but I knew it was going to be a big struggle to learn it, and it was. I mean, it wasn't like it was quick, but now I coach it, and I coach people up on Social Security, and there's 3 ways through IAMS and Dave Pimper, the coach, there's three ways to get Social Security education through us. One, to our marketing. So, Social Security seminars, which I just one last week. Well, I actually gave on Wednesday, Thursday off the same campaign, and we got 10 appointments. I was very happy with that. I've already had 3 of those appointments. One of them is gone. I found money, and it's open to let me to work with that. So we'll see how that goes. It's in the sales funnel process right now, but you can do that, and those workshops cost about $2,500, but you get coached up on Social Security at no charge. IAMS pays me. They stipend me to coach you up. Then there's Retirement Boss Radio, which is a radio show. Be your own radio host for an hour. And we've had a lot of good success. I truly have, like just last week, I got 3 more appointments. Those are set appointments by a call center when they call into the recorded show. And they run anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000, but most of the time, 35 to 4,500. That's about all in of what you'll look at that per month. But that gives you a lot of exposure. And if you just don't want to market and don't want to get in front of more prospects, yeah, you can just a la carte it for 4 sessions for $800, $200 per session, all the attachments and everything that goes with that. So 3 different ways to get coached up by myself with the help and the back help, the financial help of IAMS to go in and help you with that. But I'll tell you right now, if you don't know Social Security, keep your ears open because we've got a lot of neat things we're going to go over right now. And if you have any questions, certainly type them on in. We'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Okay? Steve, I wonder why I have trouble. There it is. I got it. Okay. So this is a test. We're going to take a test. It's a 5-question test. It'll take us like 3 minutes. I want to know kind of how much you know about Social Security. And this is from Simply Wise, which is an online financial website. And it says a Social Security test only 1 in 300 seniors could ace. So I said, how about you, the financial advisor? I took this. I aced it. There's one tricky question, but I did get it right. But let's talk about some of the questions here and see what you think. So this is the first test question. And I want everybody to take it, all the folks that are with us today. Okay, here we go. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Okay, here we go. If you said full retirement age, you're wrong. It's age 70. That's when you maximize your benefits. You get your full benefit or your normal benefit at full retirement age. Question 2, 5 questions. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Any idea? Here's the question. Here's the answer. It's age 60. So for survivor's benefits, you can actually take at 60, there's a reduction, a 28.5% reduction. You only get 71.5%, but you can take it. You can actually let the other benefit grow, your survivor or the widow's survivor benefit or your benefit. Question 3, does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for a spousal benefit? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yes or no? That's from a Meatloaf song, actually. Yes or no? It is yes. Okay. Number 4, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes or no? 50-50 chance. Here we go. Yep. But it's only if 4 stipulations are met. I need you to say what are the 2 stipulations? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? There's 2 of the 4 stipulations. If you know those, write them down. If you don't know them, you're not going to get this question right. What are 2 of the 4? What are the 4 stipulations? Here we go. You ready? Your marriage lasted at least 10 years before the divorce. You're currently unmarried. Your ex is at least 62. Divorce happened 2 years or longer ago. If you got two of those four correct, I'm giving you credit. Last question. Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Yes or no? Here we go. Yep. If four stipulations are met. And I'm not going to quiz you on that. If you guessed yes, you're right, or got yes. Yeah, but remember, you're unmarried. Your marriage lasted for 10 years. You're currently unmarried. You could have been married before, even twice, three times, four times, but currently unmarried when you are electing the benefit. Your marriage lasted 10 years or longer, continuously. Your ex is 62, and the divorce happened 2 years ago or longer. Yeah, how'd you do on that? If you got all five, good for you. If you got four, good for you. If you got less than four, I'm telling you, you need some help on Social Security, unless you just guessed. Let's hear from Jana Heron from the USA Today about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now. Doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. Is that wild? Over $100,000 in retirement for household income. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Bullet point 2. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over the lifetime because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. And look at number 4 here, which is eye-opening. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. Another way to say that is 96% took it the wrong time. That's why it's so important what we do. So, just a quick stroll down Social Security memory lane. Started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. First benefit was issued in 1940. There was only one age you could claim, 65 back then, even though the average person only lived to 62. I like those actuarial odds. So the government. Under JFK, John F. Kennedy, president in 1961, they lowered the age to 62 that you could take it by discounting it. And then shortly after that, they raised the age up to 70, where if you waited longer, it got bigger. Automatic cost of living adjustments started in 1975. So if you look at that, does anybody know what the COLA is for Social Security for 2021? 1.3%. Last year, 1.6. Year before, 2.8. Year before, 2%. Last 10 years, 2%. Since 1975, 3.5%. Between 79, 80, and 81, you had double-digit inflation. And they think right now, year over year, inflation is 4.6%. So we're going to have a inflationary. Watch out for interest rates, because they're certainly going to be going up here shortly. There was no taxation until 83 under Ronald Reagan. When's the last year the Social Security Trust Fund had no money in it? 1982. So they started taxation to get more money in the trust fund. Okay? Up to 50% of your benefit can be taxed. In 93, Bill Clinton says up to 85% can be taxed. And there isn't big changes year to year. The last bigger change was the Bipartisan Budget Act of 215. That was a big act. And it did change some. File and suspend got phased out over 6 months, and restricted application is phasing out now. About 2.5 years left on it. I remember when they phased out file and suspend, there was a bunch, a lot of guys like myself that did a lot of Social Security marketing, seminars, radio, lead cards, information, education. And they said, they're done. They're done. All the sizzle's gone. But the basics of Social Security claiming people don't know. The basics they do not know. So that's kind of a background. Now, how important is Social Security? Vary. When you go in and look at personal savings and earnings versus retirement plans, Social Security beats the socks off of it as far as the importance to an average person's income stream during retirement. In fact, 59% of all retirees that count their Social Security, it really is the major source of income. If you want to know, just if you're just really novice when it comes to Social Security claiming, which many people are, you're just watch this slide or listen to this slide, get educated from this slide, because this is Social Security in a nutshell. Here's Social Security 101. There's three important ages or dates that are important to Social Security. For an individual benefit, when is the earliest that you can go in and receive a benefit? Age 62. What is the latest that you need to take your benefit by that age, lose the benefit? Age 70. There's 8 years there. And there's an age group in the middle that's called full retirement age. It's somewhere between 66 and 67. Everything starts from full retirement age, or acronym called FRA. That's where you get your full benefit or your normal benefit. You don't get a reduced benefit, you don't get a larger benefit. If you take earlier than full retirement age, it's reduced. Is that bad? Yes. But you get the money now. Is that good? Yes. If you wait later than full retirement age, is that bad? Well, yeah, you're not getting any income. But when you turn it on, it's bigger. So if you wait, it gets bigger. If you take earlier, it's less. Is there a perfect scenario of when to take? Well, there's a maximum scenario of how to maximize, but there's a lot of issues that comes up, not just factual issues, but lifestyle issues, emotional issues of each individual person. And I help a lot of people find out when is that best right time to take Social Security. If you got any questions whatsoever, certainly type them on in. Social Security can have a huge value, and I say maximizing, but claiming at your right time. Not claiming at the right time or a right time, but your right time. Last year, actually, this is a 218 1231. The newer one is 219. There was a $6 billion increase. There was more revenues the year before in 218 than 219. There's income that came in was about 918 billion of revenue, about 912 expenses going out, which 99.4% of those are benefits. Social Security is a very well run, very inexpensively run program for the United States government and huge for its recipients. Now, will that trust fund, that 2.9 trillion, which is now 2.804 billion, will that run out? Yeah, it's supposed to be 2034, 2035. Might even run out a year earlier if a lot of people took during the pandemic. Those numbers aren't in yet, but they're going to have to shore it up. And how are they going to do it? It's either going to be increase full retirement age, increase the age that you have to start taking from 70 to 72 or 3, and or taxation. And when you hear the administration, and I will tell you the truth, it doesn't make a difference of whose administration it is, but if you hear about that, only the rich are going to get taxed, I wouldn't believe that. I mean, they talk about only 400,000 and above. I mean, how many people make 400,000? Not many. Few, but not many. Okay? So is it a pay-as-you-go system and funded by payroll taxes? Yes. That's why when somebody says that Social Security is bankrupt, it's the trust fund that could be deleted and have no money and is bankrupt. But would there still be a check coming in? Absolutely, because it's funded by payroll taxes, right? That 6.2% we pay, and the 6.2% that the employer pays, that 12.4%, that actually pays, and I always say it doesn't pay at all. It pays about 86% of it. Who pays the other 14? It's 88%. Who pays the other 12%? 8% is from interest, and they used to be special issue bonds they bought, but now the government just takes IOUs against it, so it's really IOUs of the government. That's about 8%, and taxation is about 4%. That's where they get the extra 12%. Those three things, and then make up Social Security income, the nearly $1 trillion that Bryce brought in. Does that bother me that they borrow against the trust fund? Does it bother me? I don't lose any sleep over it. As long as the government's good. Now, with $30 trillion in debt, yeah, that's a lot of debt, isn't it? We put on 11 trillion here in a short time period. Pandemic was one of the main reasons. But I'm not concerned about that. Government's good for it. It's not a Ponzi scheme. There is nothing hard that backs Social Security, but the full faith and credit of the United States government, that's fine with me. So how do you figure out your own benefit? Well, first of all, you got to have 40 quarters of coverage. They're really called 40 credits, 40 Social Security credits. You can make up to 1,400. If you make $1,470, you get one credit, $1,470. So the most you can make in a year is one per quarter, $5,880. Now, if you made just the minimum, you're going to get a minimum income. If you made more than that, you're going to get a bigger amount, but you can't get any more than 4 quarters, which is, if you get that each year, it's 10 years of work. 10 times 4 is 40 quarters. They look at the earnings over your working career, and they go in and they inflation adjust it. I graduated from college in 1977 from business administration. My first full year was 1978. I made right at $18,000 that year. $18,000 in 1978. Well, you know what? It was just under 18,000, like 17,700. That maxed out Social Security. So that would be like just like making 143,700 today. I might not have felt that way, but for Social Security it is. They take your highest 35 years. If you get any zeros, those are from years that you did not work, so you did not meet the 35. So if you made 34, you get a zero. Make 33, 2 zeros. There's been a cost of living every year except for 2010, 11, and 16. So cost of living is normally every year. Remember full retirement age, FRA, when you get your full amount? Don't you love that dog? Can you tell? Look at real close. He has a bone tie on. That's it's a real bad rural Nebraska joke. So full retirement age, born 1943 and 1954. Your full retirement age is 66. Born 43 to 54. How about if I was born in 55? Makes me 66 years old. In fact, my full retirement month is next month. I'm not taking it. I'm waiting to 70, but I could get my full benefit. So if you're born at 55 like I was, and you add on 2 months, it's 1 year after 54. 56, 4 months, 7, 6 months, 8 months, 9, 10 months, 1960 or later, 67. A newborn born today in the local hospital. Full retirement age is 67. Now I'm going to say this. I go through this pretty quick when I'm going through a webinar. When we're coaching, I coach much slower, much more in depth. We role play. I have attachments. There's a book that you buy. It's like $20, but it's the Bible, absolute Bible of Social Security. We used to read 3 different books for my coaching clients. I don't. I just read that one book now. I read it every year. Every year I read that book. It's just a great tool. And what happens, the coaching, if you're marketing coaching through marketing seminars or Retirement Boss Radio, we pay for the coaching. I say we, I mean I am space for the coaching. I'm the one doing the coaching. But I'll tell you, Social Security, so many people have questions. I did my radio show. I have an hour radio show called Retirement Boss Radio, and I mean we did almost a whole 15-minute segment today on nothing but Social Security claiming. I would say 30 to 40% of all of the questions I have come in and appointments that I have on my radio show, yeah, it's Social Security. My very first client that I had retired a year ago was an extension agent in Nebraska, and he had $2.8 million of investable assets. And I was not able to work with it. He had an advisor already, but his advisor was out of town, and I said, boy, if there's anything that ever comes up, we get him on a drip. But running across that kind of money doesn't happen all the time. If you run across enough, you get some of it. But that's full retirement age. If you're a newborn born today at the local hospital, full retirement age is 67. If you got a question, type it in because we'll answer it at the end. If you take it before, it's discounted anywhere from 25 to 30% if you take it 62. What about if you wait longer? It's guaranteed to grow 8%. Let me say that again. Guaranteed by the U.S. government to grow 8%. When you throw cost of living on top of that, you know what? On an average, yeah, you're going to grow 10% a year. If you have a $2,500 benefit and you wait 2 years, it just grew $500 for the rest of your life. And if you die first, it goes to your surviving spouse. I think Social Security is absolutely the best, without a doubt, government program there possibly could be. It keeps at least 35 to 40% of all Americans out of poverty row. So I say this quite often, but if you know the individual benefit, which we just went over, spousal benefit, divorced spouse benefit, survivor benefit, and restricted application. If you know those 5 benefits, you know about 85% of all the questions that are thrown at you, you can answer. So we spend a lot of time on those. I kind of major in the majors on the rules for Social Security. 2,700. Does Dave Pimper know all 2,700 rules? Absolutely not. Do I know by far the majority of all the important ones? I do. I do. So here we go. And if you've got questions, type them in because we will answer those here at the end. So PIA stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age. So FRA is age, PIA is amount at full retirement age. Dave's PIA, primary insurance amount, is $2,400 at 66. Amy's PIA, say at 66, is $1,000. Okay. Dave takes his, Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. Amy has an option. She can take all of hers, which is $1,000, or half of Dave's, which is $1,200. What does she elect? She takes half of Dave's, and it's done automatically. You don't have to request a spousal benefit. You got to sign up for your individual benefit, but not the spousal is automatically given. Now, what happens if Dave doesn't work? Doesn't take his benefit, but does work? He continues to work to 70, doesn't take his benefit. Amy takes hers. Amy can't take half of Dave's because she can't until Dave takes his benefit. So now she gets $1,000. Will it ever get bumped up? Yes, it does. It gets bumped up when Dave takes it at 69 or 68 or 67. Then Amy gets a $200 bump up. She doesn't get half of the increased delayed retirement credits because with spousal benefits, you can't participate in half of the DRCs, delayed retirement credits. So she still gets a $200 top up. That's how a spousal benefit works. And if that's fast for you, I apologize. We go through a lot slower when we coach together. Divorce spouse benefits, there's ones missed all the time. This has to be requested from the Social Security Administration. Has to be requested. It's biblical. If you don't ask, you don't receive. Well, remember the 4 things that have to be to get a divorce spouse benefit? Marriage had to last 10 years or longer. You're currently unmarried. X is at least 62. Divorce lasted for 2 years or longer. If those stars and moons line up, you know what happens? You can use your ex in the eyes of Social Security as if you're still married to them. The ex can be married. You just can't be married if you're taking it. And you can both take from each other if you're both unmarried and meet those stipulations. Pretty cool. Very liberal when it comes to divorce spouse benefits. Tons of divorced spouses don't use it because they don't know what's available. You're never going to get that certified letter from SSA, Social Security Administration, that says, hey, you're missing out on benefits. There's $300 more a month benefits you could take. No, you're not going to get that letter. Okay? One of the big things here is being a married couple, or in the eyes of Social Security, even though you're divorced, because for this circumstance, you get many more benefits for options for a married couple than a single. How about Social Security survivor benefits? My wife always say, no one gets out of here alive. No one physically gets out of here alive. Maybe spiritually, but not physically. We die. Dead as a doornail. Might be at 70, it might be at 110, but everybody dies. Remember, Social Security pays forever till you die. Now, let's say Dave's benefit is 2,000, Amy's benefit is 1,200. Who normally dies first, the guy or the gal? Normally the guy does 75% of the time. So let's say Dave dies 2,000. Amy now has the option. She can keep her $1,200 benefit, or she can throw that away and take Dave's. What's she gonna do? Take Dave's because it's higher, $800. You have to request it. If you don't request it, you don't get it. Social Security does not know that you want to do that. They don't follow that. They actually hope you forget it. Here it would cost her $800 a month. I had a lady, true story. One of my very first Social Security workshops was at the Keene Memorial Library, which was in Fremont. Back probably 11 years ago. Been in the business for 40, but no Social Security about a quarter of that time. And she came in from the workshop, and she had an appointment. I was like 55 at the time. I know she was 73. But she said, Mr. Pimper, you said in the workshop something that disturbed me. I said, well, what is that? She said, you said, pertaining to Social Security claiming, that if you were married and your spouse dies and that spouse has a higher benefit than you have, that I could drop my benefit and jump up to my husband's benefit because he had a higher benefit. I said, that's exactly right. And then just like a school marm, she says, I was told you couldn't do that. Kind of real stern. I said, well, who told you that? She said, my brother. Like the brother's an expert in Social Security claiming. So here's what it cost her. And this is pretty, they're rounded figures, but pretty close. Her benefit was $1,300. Her husband's was $1,800. That's $500 difference between the two. Times 12 months, $500 times 12 months is $6,000. And it had been 5 years since her husband passed. That's 30 grand she's out of because her brother gave her advice. And this is what I always say. Do not take Social Security claiming advice from a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, an aunt, an uncle, a pastor, a priest, or a rabbi. Don't. Take it from someone like myself. Or if you learn Social Security, I'm telling you, you'll be the only one. I live in town, 26,000. I mean, I'm not bragging, but no one knows Social Security better than I do here in town. I get referrals all the time. I have CPAs, I have lawyers, I have bankers, I have real estate guys, I have my own clients. I mean, yesterday I didn't work with those folks. It was a small. Well, I might work with about 35,000 off of a in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan out of a 401k with Walmart. But he said, "Can I have like 10 cards?" He said, "I want to give them to everyone who's thinking about taking Social Security." I said, "Absolutely." Real nice guy. Yeah. And also, what happens with survivor benefit is if 60 years or older, you can take your benefit and let the widows grow, or you can take the widows' benefit and let the survivors grow. So you can take it at a discount, that 28.5% discount, but then as the other one grows, there's no discount if you turn that on after full retirement age. What a neat thing is that? Just a lot of things. Has to be requested, isn't given. Coordinating spousal benefits, Bipartisan Budget Act of 215. Yeah, if you're born, this only works if the person requesting it was born January the 2nd of 1954 or earlier. So you basically have to be almost 67 and a half years old. I know this is complicated. I don't like slides that look like this, but this is how I just saved someone $27,000. They came into me, 27,000. True story. About 3-4 weeks ago. But here's a scenario. Dave and Amy are both 66. I don't want any discounting on this hypothetical. That's full retirement age. Dave's PIA, primary insurance amount, the amount at full retirement age, is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Amy wants money to come into the household, so she claims. The best thing Dave could do was let his grow bigger, 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 bigger. And that's what everybody does. But if you're born before January 2nd, 1954, what he can do, he can file and restrict it. It's a little known secret. I mean, It's a loophole. They're closing it up because of the Bipartisan Budget Act in 2015 phases out over 8 years, so it phases out on January the 2nd of 2024. But his can keep on growing the 8%, but now he can reach out and take a, a spousal benefit from Amy. A spousal benefit's always half of the full benefit. Half of 1,000 is 500. He can let his grow and get 8%. The 2,400 gets 8% a year. Amy's taking her 1,000, which she has to do for this scenario to work. Then there's 500 extra dollars. That's what I found for those guys. At 500 bucks a month times 12 months, 6,000 a year. What a big deal. Their numbers were bigger than this also. Yeah, what a cool thing called restricted application. Hard to understand in the beginning. Once you get the hang of it, it's a pretty cool thing if it ever works. What can the Social Security personnel do when you go there? Well, they can give your biggest benefit right now. They cannot give you advice. It comes right from the POMS manual, from the Program Operational Manual System. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. When I was going to get in this business back 11 years ago, I called my CPA, my lawyer, and my banker. They're all up in age. All of them were older than I am. Two of them still working. One's fully retired. Who's a client of mine, by the way. And I said, what do you do when someone needs advice on Social Security claiming? What do you do? First of all, do you know it? All of them said, no, we don't know it. What do you do? Well, if they want advice, we refer them to the Social Security office. Isn't that wonderful? They don't give advice. Bizarre. I'm reading each one of those because I think they're that important. I say consider all your income streams before you claim Social Security. Social Security is not a standalone income stream. Social Security is the most flexible of all income streams. Claiming at your right time, not the or a right time, but your right time is paramount. And I'll have engineers that get kind of uppity a little bit that really they know every number in the world. They got their Excel spreadsheet computer right there showing me their break even without compounded interest or investing is like 79 years and 4 months or whatever it is for them. And I just always say, hey, did you figure your wife for that benefit? For the survivor benefit? That just throws them for this huge loop. No, it's just mine individually. Is your wife important? That's a big reason to like myself. My wife took early, 62. I'm letting mine grow. She can jump up to my full benefit. If I croak off at 90 and she lives to 100, she'll get 10 years. My mother right now is 97. Since 1982. So for 15 years, going on 16 years, she's lived partially off of my father's Social Security survivor benefit. Even though he died 15, 16 years ago, my mother is still reaping the financial rewards from my dad being smart and letting his security grow. Remember this, I think Social Security, I say it's the worst water cooler talk there is. Hey, I took it 62 and you should too. Hey, I took it 70 and you should too. That's like saying, hey, I love the color violet and you should too. What are the pillars of income? Wages, pensions, income producing assets, RMDs on traditional retirement accounts and IRAs, how Social Security fits. The money number here is number 3. I find out every asset they have and try to find one that I can work with or they'll let me work with. When to claim Social Security? That's a $10,000 question, isn't it? But there's a lot of benefits available. And at the bottom of the slide, it says there's a lot to consider before claiming the best claiming decisions. Remember I said there's 3 ways? If we tell you, if you stayed, which everybody, but for some reason we had one person drop off and one person got back on. So I tell you, if you heard something today that you think could be helpful, something that you said, you know what, I should really learn Social Security. If you're working with the 55 and over age group, if you do any kind of Medicare business, how can you not know Social Security? There's just no way. 3 ways to get it. Through seminar marketing, Social Security is paid for. 3 sessions, paid for by IAMS. Retirement Boss Radio, marketing, it's paid for by IAMS. They pay me. They pay me to coach you. or 4 Social Security coaching sessions, just a la carte. I charge $800, $200 a session, and on any of those, you can contact me anytime afterwards. You've got full, within reason, but full access to Dave Pimper and the knowledge on Social Security claiming. So as we're finishing on up, there's an old saying. It says, "Procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow." I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Don't let it happen to you. I've never had anybody come to me and say, "Dave, you know what? I've made so much money from procrastinating. I got rich off procrastinating." No. Take some action. The people who are most successful take action. Mark yes on that. If you want more information on maybe what Social Security or a marketing program or anything, ways to get in front of more people, but there's ways to do that with Social Security. Whether you know nothing or you know a lot, I will assure you that coaching with myself, you're going to know more when you're done. Plus, having a resource. A lot of us are one man and one woman shops. I'm kind of like that one board of directors that you have that you can bounce a lot of things off. I've done this for 40 years. 10 years had my own RIA, and I'm an independent broker, and I almost went in to buy a broker dealer. I decided against that years ago. My son is in business with me. He runs our Medicare side. We do everything through IAMS. Yes, certainly. If you mark yes, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to go in and give you some ideas. But if you don't know Social Security, absolutely mark yes. Steve, I'm going to turn this over to you and see if we can answer any questions, and then we can try to be done here in short order.
Thanks, Dave. Great job as always. So your voice held up throughout. Good work there.
Well, you know what? When you get my age, your voice should be going out. See, mine's still strong. See,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mine is just changing.
I know, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, so we have a couple questions regarding Retirement Boss Radio, and I don't. You mentioned it briefly, and then I mentioned it as a way to get in front of people before we got on. And as you know, we always get a lot of interest in the radio. Do you want to talk for a minute about Retirement Boss Radio, how it works, what you do, the costs in general?
A lot of ways to market. I'm a marketer. My two main ways that I market, actually, there are three now, but it's seminar marketing. It is being a radio host, and then it's a lead generation card marketing that has been very successful from the Medicare side. So what happens is that Retirement Boss Radio is an hour recorded show, and it has 4 15-minute segments, which is new topics, each one of those segments. We have an 800 number, a toll-free number, 888-866, that they call in that goes to a live call center. They have our calendar. We have an electronic calendar, and they boot up, they match. We populate it every Friday afternoon. Like this afternoon, we'll populate it. It takes us 20 minutes. We go 6 or 8 weeks out. We block off all the time, and they have that same calendar, so we never double dip on appointments. And it's not live; it's a recorded show. You can record from your office, from your home. It could be from a car or motel room, as long as you got a good Wi-Fi connection. But all the show notes. So we buy the radio time. We have and all this is vendored out by participating third party vendors. We have a media buyer who's well known nationally, very good, and he goes out there and competes for the best airtime in your area. You normally need 100,000 population or more to really have enough people to listen to it. There's a production company. They have the co-host. We use the same co-host every day or every week. They edit it, mix it, take out the bloopers, take out the mistakes, make it an hour show. Boom. You actually don't record for an hour. You record for half an hour because we repeat a prior show 4 weeks before. We repeat a prior show. Most people don't listen to a full hour. They listen to a portion. We say the phone number a lot. I mean, we would like to get 10 appointments, set appointments, and those are almost all face-to-face now, per month. So we need 2 or 3 per week. Like this last week, I had 3. Week before, I had 2. Week before I had 4. But we've been averaging more than 10 per month. But if I get 10 appointments per month, then it's well worth my time. I have a lot of business that's written from the radio, but we coach you up on Social Security claiming with 3 coachings. at no charge. And Steve, thank you. You stipend me for that. That's
Sure.
wonderful. But
Hmm.
we coach you up on that from that marketing program. If you, I'll tell you right now, what a great time to market. Most advisors are not. They're still in the doldrums of pandemic. But the people who are marketing now, just like our last Social Security workshop, I mean, we got 10 appointments. Happy as a lark with that, especially in Fremont, Nebraska, a town of 26,000 people.
Good stuff. So we didn't hit much on the cost. Do you wanna go through
Yeah,
some
yeah.
basics
I,
here?
I would say the average cost, average, it could be, I've seen it as little as $2,300 all in cost, radio, time, production, call center, my coaching. I coach you through Social Security and radio coaching also. All of that's covered up to about $5,500, but the average cost is, I would say, $3,500 per month, maybe 4,000. That's probably the average in a city, 3,500 to 4,500. So there certainly is a pay to play a cost, but I'll tell you, you're getting on the radio for an hour each and every week, an hour, and thousands of people listening to you. So not just the appointments, but you're branding your name and branding your company. We've done. I mean, I've been in radio for over 30 of my 40 years in the business, and I've had a show now for. I've had two shows. One was for 11, and Retirement Boss Radio is going on 3 years, so 14 years about on a radio show. But it's, I tell you, if you've never thought about radio, I coach you up. I make you as good as I can, coach you up as much as I can, but the cost is reasonable, much lower than you would expect, and you get this kind of reputation that, boy, you're on radio. It's the same as seminars, and I don't like it better or worse seminars. It's just that it gives you more gravitas. It just gives you more celebrity status than what a seminar giver does. It's pretty cool, pretty neat.
Yeah, I haven't seen that myself. I think it's a really nice side benefit, keeping in mind that our main benefit, of course, is the appointments that we get. And I know you mentioned, 10 or so a month, but you're averaging more than that right now. And I know you're reluctant sometimes to say because we don't want to set high expectations, but
Right.
10 is obviously a great number, but it's not unusual that somebody might get 15, 16, 18
That's
appointments in
right.
a given month. So it's a great way to get in front of people. It can be very cost effective, and then you get that side benefit of that, like Dave said, that celebrity status, so that when you're walking down the street or when you're doing a seminar or when you're making a phone call and your name is on the radio,
Steve, I had
and
a,
you've
I had a
heard it.
person in downtown Fremont, and I was at a restaurant, and there was a guy at a table next to me, and he said, "Hey, I hate to bother you. Are you Dave Pimper?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I listen to you on Sunday every week." And he was from a little
Yeah,
town. He was in
sure.
for supper. It was
Hmm.
just kind of weird. It was kind of embarrassing. It's like, well, yeah, whatever. But I mean, and did I have an appointment with him? No. But I mean, he just want to let you know, oh, are you really him? I listen to you. It gives you that, whether it's deserving or not,
Sure.
but it gives you kind of that celebrity status. Yep,
Yeah. Did he ask you for your autograph on his credit
yep.
card?
That would just be too much. I'd have gone and been under the table with the cloth over my head. Yeah. No, no, he did not.
Yeah. And seminars have worked well as well. There's some basic Social Security questions that have popped up along the way here, and just looking at everybody is voting yes, which is great. I'm not surprised. Just to gain the knowledge on the Social Security side, I think is in itself very valuable. And we've talked about some of the things that I think are very valuable. So you're going to talk to all but like two people from this webinar, and a couple of them will have some more individual questions. And that's a good point to mention as well, Dave. It's not just getting the training on Social Security that goes along with the radio or the seminars, or if they buy it, just kind of an a la carte, but it's also that ongoing access to you for questions, as I mentioned at the outset. It's great to have the expertise. There's still some things that you're not always going to know the answer to, and then you'll have Dave for that, and Dave will know the most of those answers off the top of his head. But if there's a second that he needs to go check something, he can do that too and get right back with you. Pretty valuable to you if you're using Social Security with to build your reputation in the area. It's nice to have that at your fingertips for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was
Um,
going to say, yeah, I see how many people voted yes. That's great. I mean, I'm looking forward to talking to a bunch. Dave Corwin will give you a call, and we have a patch that we do with phones, and it just patches right in, and we get them set on my calendar, and It isn't one of my associates. I mean, I'm the one that's talking with you, and I'm the one that's giving you some ideas and just kind of seeing what you're doing, and if there's any kind of fit there. Believe me, this is about as low pressure as it gets. My goal is to help you. IAMS's goal, working with myself, is we've done this for 15 years together now. Mentors, Phil Woods is a mentor. So just think if we wanted to learn how to golf, and he said, "Well, just follow me and do what I do." That's a mentor. I mean, how the heck do you do what Phil Wood does? He's a freak. But you know what? If he sat and coached you and worked with you, and your stance and your hand, your grip and your mental, you're never going to be the golfer he is, but you'll be a lot better. That's what I do. I don't mentor. It isn't like, hey, do what I do. No, I'm coaching you through. That's the one kind of hands on. And Steve, we have had really good success with coaching people and kind of helping them and staying with them and really making a difference on their production. And that's fulfilling for me, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's gratifying for sure. We've made some difference, and I don't think around anything more so than Social Security claiming, Social Security seminars, radio, retirement bus radio, that all have a decent concentration around helping clients understand and best take advantage of their Social Security benefits. And gosh, what better people to be talking to work with regarding their retirement than folks that are wondering about their Social Security benefits? And is it complicated? You've mentioned it three or
It
four
is.
times. It's a little complicated, but being able to know the basics and then having Dave at your right there on your speed dial to get specific questions answered. And there is a software package that you can get access to. We actually have negotiated free access for the first 90 days. Is it 90 days free
Yeah.
access to?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
And
Steve,
really,
I will
yes.
say something too.
Mhm.
Learning it on your own, it is tough. It is difficult. But when someone's there that you can ask questions, or you can text me, you can email me, and then finding the answer right away. No, there's still challenges, but it makes it a lot easier when you got someone that really knows it. And I'm not pounding my chest, but this is an area that I do know, and most advisors, most people don't. I mean, so that makes that learning curve quicker, which means hopefully more money in your pocket quicker.
Yeah. I did while you were chatting earlier. I did chat over retirementbossradio.com, and the reason I did that is because there was a couple questions about radio, and I wanted people to be able to hear a podcast. And Dave has podcasts of his radio show out there, and I bet is at least once a show where you offer like information regarding Social Security claiming as you open up the phone lines. Do you do that every show, Dave?
Every show, every
Every
show.
show.
That's in every one of my clothes. So that I actually say that 4 times, and then we mention Social Security in the body of the show almost every time. I'm just telling you, 35%. I mean, 4 of my last 6 pieces of business from marketing, which which has all been through Retirement Boss Radio,
Mhm.
4 of the 6 led in with Social Security. I'm just telling you, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Yeah, it's powerful, and until you really use it, you don't know how powerful it is. Steve, how many times have I told you, gosh, I should have done this earlier? I did 11 years ago. Should have done
Yeah.
it 15, 20. Should have done it when I started. You darn
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, here's Todd. His question is one we've heard before, Todd's. So great question. Todd has done some Social Security claiming, but hasn't had good success on converting. And I know you talked a little bit about your pillars and how that works, but I think it's important for folks on here to know that that's not an unusual challenge. There are other groups, and we certainly other producers maybe on their own went out and got some good information on Social Security. You got to do seminars. It's not unusual that you get from seminar to yes, I get that first appointment, and then you're done. So that transitioning, I think Dave, you remember way back as well.
Oh
Your
yeah.
first couple of seminars, you struggled with that yourself. So why don't you talk about that for just a moment, for Todd's sake?
I'll never forget you were saying, "Hey, how's it going?" I was all excited because I had the Social Security from the Social Security seminar, and I'm pretty darn good at the sales process. I coach it all the time, but I wasn't very good at transitioning. I didn't know how to transition from Social Security to the investment itself. And I remember telling you, I mean, I know I lost those two. I would have worked with those two if I'd have known how to transition. Well, then I got, I mean, I learned how. And it's the same analogy is when my dad owned a car dealership, a Chrysler dealership, and when I was 15, my dad said, "I'm going to teach you how to drive a vehicle." And we took out the old shop truck. It had a it had a stick, a real wobbly thing on the floor that you'd shift with, and it was a 3/4 ton Dodge back then, whatever they were called, Rams, or whatever they were called. We went out to the ball diamond, so I couldn't kill anybody or hurt myself. And I remember saying to my dad, this granny gear was, I mean, I said, "How do you know when to shift?" I mean, because there was a tack there. I mean, do you shift at 3,000 RPM, 4,000 RPM? And Dad says, "You know what? You'll just feel when to shift." I couldn't understand that. And then of course the more I did it, the more I understood it. That's just the way transitioning. In the beginning it's like, well, but you know what? When you start having the steps, and I give you all the steps of how to transition, it's a big deal. And I'm sure there's a lot of different ways, but I use it off the 5 pillars of income, and it works extremely well. And I certainly do touch on that, with the people, with the coaching, and I think it could help this person, Todd. It probably could help you when you're working, whether you do coaching with me or not. But if you're doing something that you're getting that information, I think it would certainly help you transition down the road with your Social Security clients. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and how important is that when you know you're getting in front of a lot of people and want to maximize it, and you know that there's maximization that takes place at every step. You know, getting the right invitation, getting the right verbiage on your radio show, having getting the appointment set right by the caller, or getting the appointment set right by your assistant at the seminar. You know, there's something that can be gained or lost at every step, and to have a coach along the way is the reason that we don't offer anything. On the seminar or radio side without coaching anymore is because of that. It was just too inefficient for a person to not. And it's
Right.
not, doesn't matter who you are. There's always going to be some things that can get missed if you haven't done it before. And even with our help, your first seminar or your first radio show is not going to be your best one, but it's going to be a lot better than it would have been if you had
You're
just gone
right.
out done it on your own. So
Steve, let's do this because I see
mm,
that it's about
yep,
10 after. I
yeah, we've used
appreciate
some time.
everybody, and then I'll let you close it up, Steve. I appreciate everybody being on the webinar today. I just cannot. I mean, I'm just going to tell you this. It's hard for me to explain, but Social Security, even though we do not make money per se from knowing Social Security, I will tell you, you'll make a lot of money from knowing Social Security if you parlay that information to your prospect, your client, in the correct way. I can help you with that. So there's hardly anyone who hasn't marked yes, but if you haven't marked yes, do now. And we're going to close this poll down in a second. Steve, I'll let you close and button it up.
Thank you, David. I think the only reason maybe we have one person that hasn't answered yes because they haven't been able to answer at all. So if that's the issue, just give us a call. If you want to chat with Dave, give us a call and we'll get that. Ask for David when you call in. Dave will be the ones following up on the here, and he'll just say, hey, if you want to spend 15 minutes with Dave, let me know, and he'll get you connected up and on his appointment calendar. And that'd be the same if you weren't able to vote. Just call Dave Corwin, and Dave will get you set up for a few minutes with Dave Pimper. So
Yep.
thank you all for joining us today. Here we are. It's a lot of folks on today, given it's a short uh, or long weekend, probably a short Friday for a lot of people. I'm amazed, and I'm
I am
gratified that
too.
you've
I
taken
am
your time.
too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's great.
So you want to know more about it, and we want to help you learn more about it. So whatever we do to help, give us a call. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great finish to your day today. Have a great holiday weekend, and if we can help you here at IMS, give us a call. We'd love to be a valuable part of your business. Have a great day.